You are welcome to this class. Today we want to solve few Waec questions. The first one before us says, one common characteristics of solid, liquid and gases is that option A, all the three have the fixed volume. B, their molecules have the same size. C, their molecules are always in motion. D, all the three have the same intermolecular forces. Before we be able to pick the correct option, we need to do a little bit recap on the characteristics of solid, liquid and gas. So let's go. What is the characteristics, or what are the characteristics of solid? When we are talking about solid, solid has a fixed shape. That's the reason why we have rectangle, triangle, cylinder and so on and so forth. Now another one is solid has a fixed volume. A fixed volume like 250 milliliter fixed volume. Another characteristics that we want to examine among the molecules of solids is that they have very strong intermolecular forces. That's the reason why it is very difficult to break these forces, unlike that of liquid and the gases. So let's quickly examine the characteristics of liquid as well. What are the characteristics of liquid? Number one, liquid has no fixed shape. No fixed shape. That's the reason why the liquid will take the shape of the container that contains such liquid. And another one is that liquid has fixed volume. Rather, liquid has fixed volume like 250 milliliter or 250 centimeter cube or decimeter cube. So liquid has fixed volume. Liquid has fixed volume. And when we are talking about in terms of intermolecular forces, it's not that strong when we compare it with that of solid. So let's quickly go to the characteristics of gas. After that, we'll be able to pick the correct option at the end of the day. Number one characteristics that I want to examine is that gas has no fixed volume. No fixed volume. So gas will take the volume of the container. It has no fixed volume. Another characteristics of gas is that there is no fixed shape. There is no fixed shape. And when we are talking about the intermolecular forces among the molecules of gas, it's not that very strong. It's very, very weak when we compare it with that of solid and that of liquid. So let's jump into our option now. Option A says all the three have the fixed volume. So right from our explanation, we can deduce that the first option is actually incorrect. They do not have, the three of them rather, do not have fixed volume. Option B now says that their molecules have the same size. There is no way the molecules of solid, liquid and gas will not have the same size. So they don't have the same size. So option B is wrong. And then when we check the option C, their molecules are always in motion. The molecules of these three, I mean the solid, the liquid, and the gas, their molecules are always in motion. So we can see that from here, option C, there is element of being correct there. So let's quickly go to the last option and we are going to finalize it. Option D is now telling us that all the three have the same intermolecular forces. Wow. If in fact that one, hearing it or reading it loud shows that option D is not correct. So our correct answer now is simply option C. Option C is our correct answer. So let's quickly go to question 2. Question 2 says the force between molecules of liquid in contact with that of solid is. The force between the molecules of a liquid in contact with that of solid is. The first fact I want us to establish is that all these options, they are forces. They are forces. Adhesive force, option A. Option B, cohesive force. Option C, magnetic force. And option D, repulsive force. So what's the meaning of adhesive force? Adhesive force is a force between molecules of different objects. Molecules of different objects. Molecules of different objects. Objects like e.g. when we have liquid and solid, so two different objects. But when we are talking about cohesive force, we are talking about a kind of force that occur between the molecules of the same object, the same material, e.g. the forces that occur between molecules of solid or molecules of liquid. So we can say that cohesive force is a force that occur, that is present in the molecules of the same material. When we are talking about magnetic force is a kind of force as well, but this one occur in magnets, or in magnetic material. So that's when we have when we have north pole and south pole. Yes, the kind of force between the north pole of a magnet and the south pole of another magnet, we can call it a magnetic force. And the last option, which is option D, is telling us that a repulsive force is a force that occur, is also a force, as I've said, but this one occur when we have like charges in terms of electricity, electric charges, when we have positive charge coming in contact with another positive charge, or when we have a negative charge coming in contact with another negative charge. So this is repulsion. Repulsion occurs here, and likewise repulsive force also present between the two positive charges. Or when we are talking about magnets, when you have north pole and north pole coming together, we have a repulsive force. Likewise, when we have a south pole and a south pole rather coming together, two south pole coming together, we have a repulsive force. So let's go to our option again. So option a kind of force that occur between molecules of different objects, and we are going to see that liquid is a separate object from solid. So we are talking about two different objects, liquid and gas. Therefore, the correct option for this question is now option a kind of force that occur between molecules of different objects. So let's quickly go to the third question. The third question says the energy needed to separate the nucleons against the force which hold them together is dash. So what is the meaning of nucleon? If we don't understand the meaning of nucleon, it will be very difficult for us to answer this question correctly. So when we are talking about nucleon, we are talking about the nucleus of an atom. You remember that when you have atom of a matter or of a material, the electron is revolving around the orbit. Likewise, inside that nucleus we have proton and we have neutrons. So inside the nucleus of an atom we have protons and neutrons. The two coming together, we call them nucleon, and then there is a force that is binding them together, that is joining them together. The protons and the neutron, they are held together by a kind of force. So it's a force that is pulling the two, joining the two together. So let's quickly go to our option. Option A is talking about nuclear energy. This, if care is not taken, we are going to miss this option, because when we are talking about nuclear energy, is a kind of energy release, whether when two nucleons or when two nuclei, that's the plural form of nucleus, when the two nuclei come together, that's when we have nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Nuclear fission is when the two nuclei is coming together, when the two nuclei are coming together. But when we have nuclear fission, is when a particular nucleus is breaking down to form smaller nuclei. So we are going to see that nuclear energy is a kind of energy being released. So you are going to see that it's different from what we have explained concerning the force that is holding the nucleons together inside the nucleus of an atom. So option B is telling us that we have mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is of two forms. We have potential energy and we have kinetic energy. So what is potential energy? Energy that deal with position, while kinetic energy is energy that deal with motion. Now another one is ionization energy. Ionization energy is a kind of energy required to remove a proton inside the nucleus, to remove a proton, or to remove an electron in the outermost shell of an electron. So ionization energy is the energy required to remove a proton in the outermost shell of an electron, of an element rather. So option D, the binding energy. So the binding energy is the energy, or you can call it nuclear binding energy. Is the kind of energy that hold proton and neutron together. So before proton and neutron can be broken or can be moved apart, this kind of energy must be broken. So that shows that concerning this question now, our correct answer now is option D, because it is the kind of energy that is holding protons and neutrons together. So before they can go separately, this kind of energy must be broken. It's the kind of energy needed to separate them. Is the amount of energy required, needed to separate the nucleon of an atom. So our option now is option D. The correct option is option D. So let's quickly go to the fourth question. The fourth question says a reservoir is filled with a liquid of density. So we are given density, and I want to use the symbol of density, which is rho. Rho is the symbol of density like this. That's 2000 kilogram per meter cube. That's the first parameter. Calculate the depth at which the pressure in the liquid will be equal to. So we are asked to calculate the depth, that is the height, the depth at which the pressure of the liquid will be equals to. The pressure now is what? 9,100 Newton per meter square, and we are given acceleration due to gravity to be 10 meter per second square. So the first thing that you need to do whenever you are giving any calculation is that you list out all the given parameters, and that's what we have firstly done here. So now we are going to recall our formula when we are talking about a liquid. The pressure of a liquid, P, is equals to rho g h. That is, rho is the density, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and this h is the depth. So they now ask us to calculate the depth. That shows that we don't know our h. Our h is unknown. We are given p, we are given g, we are given rho. So from that we'll be able to apply our formula, which says 9,100 equals to rho 2000 kilogram per meters cube multiplied by 10 multiplied by h. So our h now will now be 9,100 all over 20,000. So we can simply say that these two zeros will cancel these two zeros. We are left with 91 divided by 200, 0.5 0.455 0.455 meters. So from there we are going to see that our correct answer is now option B. That's our correct answer. So the fifth question says that a solid weighs 45 Newton and 15 Newton respectively in air and water. Determine the relative density of the solid. What is the formula to calculate relative density of a solid? Relative density of a solid, the formula to calculate it is that weight of solid in air, that is the normal weight of the solid divided by weight of equal volume of water. Yes, weight of equal volume of water. So we have two parameters here now. Relative density is unknown. So what about weight of the solid in air? It has been given to us to be 45 Newton. And then weight of equal volume of water, which is another word of saying the weight loss, or you can call it the upthrust of the solid, when it is being immersed in water. So from there our calculation is very simple now. Just permit me to write it here. So I have RD, that's relative density, equals to 45 Newton all over the upthrust of the solid when immersed in water is now the difference between the weight of the solid in air and the weight of the solid in water. That will be the same upthrust that the solid will experience when it is immersed in water. So we have 45 Newton minus 15 Newton. So from there we now have RD to be, which is relative density, 45 all over 45 minus 15. It will give us 30 Newton year one. That's the reason why relative density is being regarded as a dimensionless quantity. It has no unit. So by the time you press your calculator, or you can reduce it to the simplest form, you will agree with me that 5 can go in each of them. 5 here 9, 5 here, 5 in 45, we are going to have 9, and then 5 in 30, we have 6. So we are left with 9 over 6. 3 can still go, 3 here 3, 3 here 2. So we now have 1.5 as our final answer. You are going to agree with me that the correct option now is option C. That's the beauty of calculation. If you don't calculate it, you will not get the results. So I want to specially thank you for your patience with us. If you have any problem that you would like us to be of help to you, just drop it in the comment section. You can reach us to our WhatsApp. you can comment, you can like, you are free to share, and I want you to subscribe. If this has already impacted you or it has helped you one way or the other, feel free to subscribe so that whenever we upload new videos, you will be notified. Thank you.